We are living inside of the Matrix, and I am Morpheus. I know you're sitting thinking, why did Tate not decide he was Neo? Because Tate has all the Aikido and the masterful, nearly superhuman abilities.
Good shot there from Tate! What a crunching shot!
But I am Morpheus because Morpheus dedicated his life to trying to find other people whose minds were ready to be freed. He said it himself, not all minds can be unplugged.
And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system, that they will fight to protect it.
Some people are just not prepared. And when I say we're living inside the Matrix, I'm not stating that with irony or as a joke, or I don't want you to use it as an example of how the world could be. We are genuinely, actually living inside of the Matrix. The Matrix is real.
This is the world that you know. The world as it was at the end of the 20th century. It exists now only as part of a neural interactive simulation that we call the Matrix.
The very basic premise of the Matrix is that humans are nothing more than batteries for the machines.
In order to change a human being into this.
And in the world we currently live in, every single one of you is being reduced in real time to nothing more than a QR code. You're losing autonomy over your own bloodstream. You're losing the ability to walk freely, to go where you want, to make own personal choices regarding your medical decisions. You're losing all of that. That's all being replaced because you are a cog in a machine, and that machine is soulless. The reason that the humans are fighting the machines inside of the Matrix is because machines have no soul. All they care about is efficiency, slavery. And this is what's happening to you. They don't care if a few people die from it. They're not interested if a few die, if most don't die. You're all expendable. Do you understand? The machine is reducing you in real time to nothing more but a slave. There is a reason humanity fights against machines in the Matrix. Because machines have no soul. Machines are ruthless. They look at things purely from a numbers perspective. They don't care if a few people die, as long as most people don't die, right? Most won't die, a few will die, boo-hoo, their families. It's good for us overall. That's how machines think. They don't care about your individualism. In fact, they want to crush your individualism. They want you to do your job well enough for them to benefit, but they don't want you to think outside of that job. When you're playing chess, you take every single opportunity to exert power. That's how you win. If there is a weak square, you conquer it. If there is an undefended piece, you take it. If you can check his king, you'll check his king. You'll pin his pieces. You'll fork him. You'll do anything you can to exert power. You'll find a weakness and you will exploit it. Now, if you don't do these things, you lose because your opponent will. So when you understand that the governments of Earth, all the varying governments, and let's go a step beyond that, call me a conspiracy theorist, the varying interests which are above governments, which control, the food you eat, the money you use, who buy all the politicians. These interests, when they're combating, they make sure they take every single possible opportunity to exert power. Because if they didn't, they would lose. It's a chess game. So if something happens, a black swan event, I don't know, a disease appears, and they realize in real time that it's not actually a big deal, they will still use that opportunity to exert power because it's an advantage. They go, okay, people are obeying more than they'd normally obey. People believe the propaganda more than they'd normally believe. People are ignoring their own eyes. This is a chance here for us to make some chess moves and exert more power and more control, because we're going to need this power and control to combat our enemies. Now, for the sake of YouTube, I'm not going to say what I believe. In fact, what I know these varying power interests are. A lot of people still think in terms of right and left politically, or they think in terms of China and America from a country perspective. It goes beyond all of that. And these are the kind of things I talk about in my private conversations inside of the war room. But here on YouTube, I'm not going to say it. For the sake of this video, it doesn't matter who these powers are. It only matters that you understand they exist and you understand what is happening. You understand this is an opportunity for people who are only interested in power to exert more power. Now, quickly, I have conversations with people who are far more ignorant and naive than I. And they don't understand why people would just chase unlimited power. They say, well, why would the people in charge of the world make us do all of these, you know, if it wasn't good for us? Why would they do that? Why would they do that? And these people are ignorant because they've never had any power, but they don't understand that money gets boring, fast cars gets boring, nice meals gets boring. It all gets boring, right? The only thing that never gets boring is power, because power gives you an adrenaline rush. It's an ego. It fuels your ego. It feeds you. If you were born with absolutely unlimited money, you have no respect for money. You've never been poor. You don't have that juxtaposition to compare it to. You've never sat there hungry. So of course you don't appreciate when you have food. Do you think the people who are born into the families that print the money are going to be happy with a Ferrari? What's a Ferrari? 200 grand? These people control trillions. They're uninterested in that. What they're interested in is being respected and revered and feared like God. They want power. They're power crazy because this is human nature, right? Power is the only thing that can bring them any kind of joy. So they like to exert power. The limits to their exertion is usually the police force, right? The police of Earth, which are actually the biggest cowards in this entire scam, are the limit as to what the elites can exert on the common man. If you look at countries like Australia, which are completely crazy, it's because the police enforce it. If you look in some other countries where the police refuse to enforce, it seems that the doesn't exist. Funny that. Or certainly the lockdowns don't exist. I was talking to a girl from Kyrgyzstan the other day, and she said that when they tried lockdowns in her country, they believed it was all corrupt. And after 3 days, everyone rioted and the police changed sides, and they've never heard of the disease since. Once again, funny that, isn't it? The future is very dystopian on a tangent, because in the future, the entire police force will be AI. It'll all be roboticized, and robots have no soul. And then you're really in trouble. This is what I'm talking about, chess pieces and how they exert their power. Because as they reduce you to a QR code, as they reduce you to nothing more than a medical status as to whether you comply, because that's what they really want. I'm not going to sit here and say that anything's dangerous. What I'm going to say is they want to know who blindly complies and who thinks for themselves. And the people who think for themselves must be punished. How do you punish them? Well, you delete them from the internet. You remove their YouTube, destroy their Twitter, remove their Facebook, prevent them from using their bank, prevent them from going outside, prevent them from going to restaurants. This is what they're going to do to every single person. They no longer, soon in the future, they're not going to need a physical human police force, because humans are human. As stupid as police can be, you can stand in front of one and say, my friend, you and I are the same. Why are you punishing me? And maybe you'll get through, but you can't do that with the camera that scans your QR code. Do you understand? They don't care. It's just a yes or a no. So any one of you out there that has any kind of warrior spirit inside of you should be very much like me, struggling to sleep at night. I'm actually genuinely losing sleep over this stuff because the world is falling apart in real time. And for my short human existence, every single time something went wrong in my life, I knew the answer. But the answer to this one's pretty difficult because most people are still asleep. Most people are still blindly complying. And they are complying thinking that this is going to go away. When the truth is, this has only just begun. Nothing is going anywhere. It has just started. So I've come up with a 3-step plan. The 3-step plan to resistance that will not land your ass in jail. And that's what I'm going to lay out to you here on Tate Speech, because I don't want anyone to go to jail. I don't want to go to jail, right? I'm not trying to inspire mass rebellion to the point where I lose my YouTube channel. I'm a peaceful man. So for that, I'm putting together a 3-point plan. So point 1, you need to become obsessed with wealth. I can't explain how many times during this episode of human history I have managed to skirt the rules purely because I have huge sums of money. It doesn't matter if I take a private plane when there's no flights. It doesn't matter if I contact my friend who has a business to get me the correct visa to get into a country I'm banned from. It doesn't matter, right? I can give you 100 examples, many of which I won't see on YouTube. The point is, when you have a lot of money, you then get a lot of influence over others. And with influence over others, you can begin to skirt some of the rules. Now, this is important for more than just you breaking the rules. This is important because if you skirt the rules with the help of somebody else, then that also wakes them up to the fact that these rules are garbage. It is your job overall to try and awaken people and try to make them use their own eyes and their own brain and to stop believing whatever they're told by the machines, by the elitists. So if you go up to somebody and say, listen, this is all garbage, here's some money, let me through, and they do it, they might actually think, you know what, this is all garbage. That's why it's important. So the first thing is you need to become obsessed with wealth creation. I want everyone here to understand something. I'm not a philanthropist. I don't really care about making you people rich, and I certainly don't need your money. So if you think that I run Hustlers University or the War Room or these networks for money, you're absolutely mistaken. I have enough money to live for the rest of my life. The reason these networks exist is because if I help enough people make money, and those people trust me enough, and they can see that what I say about wealth creation is true, then they might start understanding that what I say about the world is true, and I'm gaining powerful allies. If you agree with everything I'm saying about the current state of the world, then I want you to be rich, because you're gonna help me. This is why Hustlers University exists. This is why the War Room exists. This is my rebellion against a machine. Do you understand? We're living in a period of history where the matrix is broken, and because it's broken, it's actually very easy to generate wealth if you understand how to do it. And I will teach you the ways I am generating wealth because I think you people can help me. Stage one is you need to get rich. This is the first thing. Stage two, you need a network. If I gave you $20 million, but you're a little dork in his mom's bedroom, you can't do much with it. That's gonna damage the matrix. You don't know anybody important. You don't have the pizzazz or the finesse or the charisma to bribe an official. No way. Never in a million years. You can't famoose like Tate can famoose. You don't have the vibe. You certainly don't know people like I just gave the example earlier, the business owner. You don't know a business owner who can get you a visa to enter Turkmenistan. You certainly don't know important people in powerful places that are going to be able to help you, whether for money or purely just because they like you. So you need to improve your network. Once again, this is what the War Room's for. The War Room is a network. This is why it exists. It exists so you can have access to powerful people which you're never going to have access to in the normal, everyday world. So first, you become obsessed with making money. Secondly, you become obsessed with making powerful friends and a powerful network of like-minded individuals, because you can't do anything by yourself. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to state this again. I'm trying to make people rich, and I'm trying to make people think the same way I think so that we can all work together to try our very best to resist the global enslavement of humankind. And the third thing you must do, and this is extremely important, you must stop blind compliance. Now, when I say this, I don't mean get arrested. I don't mean end up on a no-fly list. I don't mean lose your job. I don't mean these things. What I mean is stop complying unless they make you comply. Don't put on and then go in the store. Go in the store with no and make them tell you to, and then say, oh, I don't have one. Make them give you one. Do you understand that if everybody did this for a week, the level of headache for the people running the store, they just give up? If every single person walked in, excuse me, I ain't got one, they're giving out all these free, it's over, right? Stop blindly complying. Make them try a little bit. You must make them try. What kind of weakling are you to just completely roll over with no resistance? At least make them ask. Even if you just go, okay, and put it, you ain't gonna go to jail. Nothing bad's gonna happen to you. Why are you rolling over just like a complete wimp? Put some kind of resistance in the atmosphere and encourage everyone around you to do the same. In here, well, let's make them tell us and let's make them give them to us. Let's say we don't have them. That's all it takes. Get rich, get a network, and stop blind compliance. It's been almost 2 years now. We are at the beginning. This is not coming to an end. This slavery is just beginning. They are trying to reduce you to a QR code, and they are looking for people who blindly comply. This is why they make these mandates. The mandate is designed to purge the ranks of anybody who is not a slave, slave-minded. Anyone in the military who does not blindly comply to all orders is purged. That means the good men are gone. Same with the police.
If you are not one of us, you are one of them.
What are they?
They can move in and out of any software still hardwired to their system. That means that anyone we haven't unplugged is potentially an agent. Inside the Matrix, they are everyone, and they are no one.
Same with the doctors. All the good people are gone. Only the bad people are left.
These people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged.
Do you understand what I'm saying? This has just begun. Some countries are worse than others, but no matter where you're living in the world today, I can assure you this. If you don't get rich and you don't get a powerful network of people very, very quickly, you're fucked.